All right. Well, here we go. Back to, hey, welcome to the Down to Get Weird podcast. We just did about 10 minutes not recording audio, so we're going to get back to it. This is my guest, Kyle Brown, one of my ex-wrestlers at Lincoln East High School, stud on the mat, and just gets out of the Marines and goes and hikes the Appalachian Trail a little bit longer. We're going to jump into it and kind of go backwards a little bit.
Okay.
But a recap of, okay, you get out of the Marines in
May 2019.
Okay, and then you get a job
Mm-hmm.
at home. So start from there, I guess. Sorry.
A job at home?
Yeah, so you came home
Yes.
from the Marines.
Right.
And you ended up getting a job.
Yep.
But you heard about this trail, so talk about how you got the idea planted in your head.
One of my buddies from the Marine Corps, when we were 18, we just got in. We were kind of talking about what we're going to do once we get out. And then I didn't really have a plan at all, and he just said that he wanted to go and hike the Appalachian Trail. So I had no idea what it was at the time. I'd never heard of it. And then so I kind of did a little research on it. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So fast forward to like a couple years later, I just did 4 years in the Marines. So about halfway through, I kind of start thinking like, okay, what am I going to do when I get out? And at this point, kind of the same spot I'm in right now, I don't really know what I want to do. But I was like, I started thinking about what my buddy said about the Appalachian Trail. I'm like, that sounds really cool. And that's like a perfect time because once you start going to college, you don't want to do a year and take a year off. At least I didn't want to. I'd rather just do it. So I figured in between the Marines and going to college, if I do go to college, that's no better time to do it than right there. So I got out, got a job, started working construction, and then just started putting money away and kind of saving to go and do this trip, which I intended to leave in March and hike south to north.
Did you know how long it would take? Like, did you done enough research to know this wasn't going to be like a couple weeks?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be like a while. And so on Google, if you just type in like, how long does it take to hike the AT? It's 5 to 7 months. So
jeez. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah. So with no experience at all, I was just like, okay, I'm assuming it's going to take like 6 months, something like that.
Okay.
So I was just like, just kind of planning for that. But should we just go over the whole COVID thing again?
Yeah, go over that. So you were planning on leaving March 20...
Around March 20th or so.
2020, though.
Mm-hmm, 2020.
Okay. So this last spring.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so right as that happened, right as I had everything ready, we were ready to, my parents and I head down to Georgia and start hiking. And then that's when COVID came out. And then obviously like people are going nuts about COVID. And then we were like, all right, we'll give it a week or two and then we'll see from there. And then it gets worse, obviously. TV's just filled up with COVID news and stuff like that. They shut down the Appalachian Trail. And so now I'm thinking, crap, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just waiting to go hike. And so my lease ends up running out in April, so the next month. And then the trail is still closed. So I just moved back in with my parents. And I was just kind of waiting to go, taking it week by week, month by month. Like, I hope this thing opens soon, or because it's getting kind of late. Because there's like a certain time where there's like a season for hiking south to north and then north to south.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm running out of time because if I leave now,
it would be too cold.
It'd be too cold by the time you get up. And there's like certain mountains and stuff where they won't even let you up because the weather's so bad.
Yeah.
Like you can't even go. And so I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. June rolls around and I'm like, well, it'd be a really late start, but like I want to do it. And then they start talking about Baxter State Park. It's where Mount Katahdin is up north.
Is that in Maine?
It's in Maine, yeah.
Okay.
That's where the beginning or ending point is.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, Baxter should be open July 1. And I was like, I haven't even thought of this. When is the usual time to hike north to south?
Yeah.
And it's like July, starting point is in July. So I was like, I think I'll just do that.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, July rolled around and then it was open, the park opened. So I'm like, well, looks like I'm just going to hike north to south.
Do people ever start north to south before July 1st, or is that like the end time? Like, do people ever, because June's probably pretty nice up in Maine.
It is.
Okay.
I think like certain days, because Mount Katahdin's like the craziest mountain that I've ever been on. Like the weather is just
in Maine.
It's in Maine, yeah. So that has seasons as well, but they just kind of base it off of like the weather. So if the weather's like good that day, then they'll let you up, but It's kind of the same thing. It's
Huh.
in a state park, so it's like bad weather. No, you're not allowed to climb because people die up on that mountain. Two
Yeah.
people died the week after I was there.
Jeez, how do you spell it? Katahdin, I see.
Khat.
They're
Yeah.
listening to us. The government's listening.
Yeah.
And Google knows.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mount Katahdin, it is in. I guess it doesn't really have a place in Maine. It's just in Maine. But how high is this? It'll say 5,200 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty high.
Highest one in Maine, I believe.
Yeah. So how far into your trip did you hike that? Do you start there, or is
Yeah.
that okay? That's where you start.
That's a starting point, yeah.
Okay.
Or finishing
Or the
point.
ending point.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much money would it take to do something like this? Because I guess I don't even know give like the first layouts, or how do you go about your day? Are you camping everywhere? Are you staying in lean-tos, or are there like hostels, or they're like, I don't know. I guess I don't know anything about that.
They have most of the time. It depends on the state, but in most states they have like shelters every 5, 10, 15, 20 miles. Excuse me. So I would kind of plan out my day where it's like, I want to make it to this shelter tonight, and I would kind of go for that. Sometimes not. Sometimes there's just like camping areas, and then there's stealth camping where it's like you just kind of make a spot.
Yeah.
And so I like doing that towards the end, but starting out, like just getting my trail legs, as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they take a few hundred miles before you like your legs and body's just used to hiking every day. So I would start out just like 5, 10 miles, just trying to make it to the next shelter. Just take all day to do it.
Yeah.
But then as I started going and just got used to like living out there, it's like, okay, I'll just hike into the night, and then if I get tired, I'll just find a spot.
Huh. So these are shelters. They're just, do they have walls? It's just, do you set your tent up there, or is it like an actual like dorm bed that you can go in? No, it's literally just camping underneath a shelter.
Right.
Okay.
Which is 5-star some days out there. When it's been raining and
Yeah.
pouring on you all day, you're like,
so nice.
it's got just 3 sides and then a shelter over it. So, and it's kind of trail etiquette that you don't put your tent up inside, because then there's less room for others.
Okay,
So
so you just sleep on the
Cowboy camping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
just put up your sleeping bag.
Are there a lot of other people there?
Sometimes on weekends, because all the like locals will come out, or
Yeah.
people that are just doing like a weekend hike, and they're typically the ones who will put the tent up in the shelter, and then
Yeah.
you don't have room in the shelter, so you got to pitch your tent out somewhere else.
Oh,
Kind of
geez.
frustrating, but
Yeah.
I mean,
So do you like did you have like hiking buddies? From the traveling that I've done, you meet people doing the same thing and you do it together. And
Mm-hmm.
you're almost never, especially when you're solo traveling, you're almost never alone. You're always with someone, and you're just kind of, oh, we'll go here together, we'll go there.
yeah.
Does that happen, or is the hiking thing different? Are there people who want to go further, go less?
That's very common. So usually most people go south to north. And so that's when you get like huge hiking groups, and they call them tramilies, trail families. So like these like groups of people will all hike together. They'll get together and be like, hey, we're going to this shelter tonight. Everyone text me at this time when you get here and stuff like that. Going north to south is like, I think 20% people do that compared to the 80% that go north. So there's very few people that go south. But still, there is a lot of people that you meet out there, and I started late compared to others.
Yeah.
A lot of people started July 1st. I started July 15th. So towards the end, I caught up with people like in the Smokies down there in like Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's when I would like kind of meet up with people like, hey, where are you guys going tonight? This place. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go there too. But starting out, there's like days like not seeing another human, or just seeing like another day hiker and stuff. And you can mingle with some people, but a lot of the time you're just alone.
Do most people know, like if they're day hikers, do they know you're probably doing the full thing?
So we stink.
Maybe by you stink and you got the beard. So do you get to shower?
Sometimes. Like, so there's in some parts, like up north, there's not many hostels and stuff. But
they do have them. They'll have some hostels.
Like in New York, they didn't. In New Jersey, they didn't. I think I went from like Vermont down to, I forget. But there was like a stretch there where you can get a motel. And I would get a motel.
Decently cheap?
Yeah, because they have like hiker rates and stuff like that, because they know like there's not hostels in this area. So like try to draw on the hikers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be like sometimes 10, 12 days before I had a shower.
Jeez. Ooh, that's especially hiking every day.
Yeah.
Oh man, your clothes probably just stood straight up when you took them off.
Oh yeah, it was nasty.
Dude, I don't think I could do that. I can't. I'm sure the jungle rot is just horrendous.
Yeah.
I'd be like saddle walking all the way down.
Yeah, I did that a few times.
Oh.
And people are just looking at you. It's like, whatever.
You're like, hey man, what I got going down here, you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to be within 10 feet of me.
No, yeah.
Oh.
Learn quick to pack out
Dude,
Vaseline.
I can't do one day walking in Europe in the summer without having to like take care of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would do super well. I'd have to get like medication or something.
People have their different tricks, but I don't know. I just use Vaseline when it got too bad for like chafing and stuff. And
yeah.
then, I don't know.
I can't imagine that. I hear about people like in the Vietnam War and they were talking about how they'd be out in the jungle and just sweating and I'm like, dude, my body would like my downstairs mix up would not be doing well with that.
Yeah.
Be a lot of sweating.
And especially when it's like, it sucks when it's been like 10 days, you don't have a shower, you've been in the hot sun, and then like a group of people walk by that are like out for the day.
Yeah.
And you can like smell them from like 10 feet, like, wow, they smell good. And then I wonder if they're thinking, damn, that guy smells like shit.
Yeah.
Like 10 feet away.
And you had the beard, so you probably weren't trimming it up. Did you trim it at all?
Not at all.
No.
Just let that bad boy grow.
You're looking homeless by the end of this thing.
Dude.
So
I was homeless, more or less.
yeah. You had your tent. So how much did you carry with you? I'm gonna get you another drink and you talk about that.
Like weight wise or gear?
Gear.
So gear wise, I had a tent, a sleeping pad, just an inflatable one. So I just blow it up at night. Sleeping bag, thank you, sir. Sleeping bag, food, which is the heaviest thing that you'll carry most of the time.
Probably water's pretty, obviously.
Depending on where you are, though, I never really carried water.
Really? They just have it?
Like, well, you got to filter it. So if you're in an area that has like a bunch of water, like I had an app, it's called Gut Hook. Huge shout out to Gut Hook. If anyone's going to go hike a trail, look them up. And it will tell you like how far ahead the next water source is. So if I saw there was water like in 2 miles, I just wouldn't even carry it because that gets really heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
But
did you get one of those? I have one of those straws.
No,
dude, is that like the new
That's
thing
JV.
to do? That's JV?
That's JV.
I figured it probably was.
No, I got a Sawyer squeeze and this thing sucked. Like it would like fill the water up in a bag and then you just like sit there and like squeeze it as hard as you can and then it gets clogged. So if you have to like back flush it, but if you can't back flush it in a few days, then you're just sitting there dealing with it and it's just so annoying. Especially when you get to the shelter at night and it's raining and the last thing you want to do is go filter water. It's like, I'll just go to bed thirsty.
So why don't the straws work? It's just 2 JV?
I don't like.
I got one of them, man. I've never used it.
Think of the water's not going to be by your face. You got to lay down and then drink water from it.
I saw one of my buddies. It had a screw top on the bottom of it, or on the top. So then you could just it was a screw on the top, and then you just squeeze like a 2 liter of water through it, and then it filters the water that way.
That's what I had. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it was kind of like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but his was like. I thought it was a straw that let him do that also.
There might be. I honestly didn't see anyone with a straw.
JV. I got the straw. I got the JV equipment.
Hey, I'm not hating on it, but
mine's more for like if I'm in Sri Lanka in a crappy hotel and you can't drink the water anywhere there.
Really?
No.
Just bottled water? Then?
You just bottled water. So then you gotta like if you needed water, you could
filter
drink it
the hotel water.
I haven't done it. I didn't have it then, but that's why I got it.
Oh, well, that's smart. Yeah. Thinking ahead.
Yeah. I'm just like, well, you never know.
I would try it out first before you go.
Yeah.
Go to Holmes Lake
I can just throw it. I'm not relying on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drink out of Holmes Lake.
Yeah. See how that goes.
Oh. Okay. So did you meet? I'm guessing some weird stuff happened. Anything weird? Did you get any like creepers that are? I don't know. I've heard weird stories hiking the Appalachian Trail just from YouTube.
Right.
That just interested me. I don't know. Was there anything like super odd or cool or anybody you met or like weirdos or
definitely a lot of cool people and it kind of upset me. This is going to sound bad, but like people had like a weird story about something that happened to them. Like, oh, this was like homeless people will stay in the shelters. They'll like live there.
Yeah.
And so like some people had like, oh, I ran into this homeless guy and then like he was like walking around with a shovel and just like dragging it back and forth like the 2 hours that I was there. And they like tried talking to him. He didn't say anything, but he would just drag a shovel and like look at him. And they're like, all right, well, we're just going to move to the next shelter.
We're
So,
not staying here.
so I'm like, dang it, I want something crazy to happen to me. So I have a story, but nothing like bad happened to me personally.
Maybe that's because you were the homeless guy.
Maybe I was the crazy one.
Yeah,
very well could be.
It's like, how does it go if, I don't know. There's a saying where if it's like, if that never didn't happen to you, then you're probably the one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's so funny.
Could have been.
Well, you had that big beard. I'll put a picture of it if anybody's watching this, but
yeah,
that's so awesome.
There was cool people though.
Yeah.
So
how old were they mostly?
A lot of older people, like retired people because a lot of people, most people out there do day hikes or section hikes. So most people are like, like for a week or 2 weeks, we're section hiking, and then they just section hike over decades from Georgia to Maine. So they'll just go out like a week with their friends and stuff and do that. So a lot of all ages doing
And so wait,
it.
how long is a section hike again?
It could be anything. So it could be like I met people who it was like their 20th year doing it. And so they would do like, I guess that would be, I'm not a math whiz, but like 100 miles at a time.
Okay.
If the trail is 2,200 miles.
How long does that take?
They would just go out for a month of the year and do it.
Okay.
Or 100 miles. How long does that take?
Yeah, 100 miles.
It depends on the terrain and like what state you're in. Like in Maine and New Hampshire, 100 miles would take probably a week to, I don't know, I'd probably do like 15 to 20 mile days at most.
Yeah.
But in like some parts of Virginia and Pennsylvania, you could get like 30-mile days in.
Huh.
So it just depends.
Yeah, I got you. And then for food, would you just stop off in these were they like small town villages?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's easy. How far off the trail were they?
It varied. So sometimes you'd have to like either hitchhike or call an Uber or
oh dang
walk into town.
Call an Uber.
Sometimes.
Like how far would that would be really frustrating to go off the trail and walk more.
Yes.
With all your stuff.
There's sometimes where like Uber wasn't available. They have like trail angels is what they call them. So like people you can call that live locally that will come up and give you a ride, you just pay them a little bit and like super clutch people.
Yeah.
But other places like, or with COVID, like, yeah, we're not doing that this year, or like, yeah, just not okay. We're not doing that. So it's like, well, I guess I'm walking into town, which sometimes could be not too far. Other times it could be a couple miles, but those are just like 0 miles technically. You're not making any progress on trail, but you're still hiking that far.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and would you stick to it? I feel like for me, I would stick to a very strict set of food because I don't know how to make food.
Yeah, same.
So I would like, I don't know. I guess I get beans and chicken or something.
Yeah.
And cook chicken or like
you got to watch the weight. Can
yeah.
gets heavy. So I would have dry oatmeal. I would just tear open an oatmeal pack and chase it with water and eat it. Breakfast essentials. And then throughout the day, I would just load up on protein bars.
Yeah,
and
protein bars would be big.
Mountain houses. Those are really good. Mountain houses.
What is that? A protein bar?
It's like a dehydrated meal.
Okay.
So I had a jet boil.
So it's like an MRE.
A cold weather MRE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
They taste good out there after you've been hiking for 20 miles. But right now, if you offered me one, no.
No. What kind of flavors would they have for those?
Chicken and dumplings, hands down my favorite. I got chicken teriyaki, beef stroganoff is good. I mean, I'm an eater. I like my food.
It's called Mountain
House.
Mountain House?
Yeah. Mountain House meals.
Meals. They got them at Walmart.
They do. Walmart was the best resupply.
Okay, I've seen these. I saw these today. Biscuits and gravy. Did you have that one?
No, it's the breakfast one.
Oh.
Less calories. I want all the calories I can get.
That's okay. So is that just add water and stir it up and eat?
You can eat it cold, but I would heat up my water.
And so when there's a water source, is that like a water fountain? Is that like a water bottle fill up area? Because you said you had the app. Is that like natural water source?
Correct. Yeah. So it's like a stream or a pond or something.
And you can drink out of that
after you
filter it.
Or like some dudes that I was hiking with, he said 99% of the time he hasn't filtered.
Yeah.
But it's like, it doesn't cost me anything. I'm just gonna filter it.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, if you had the straw.
Or if I had the straw, then I wouldn't have to do it.
You could drink out of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got lazy and didn't filter sometimes.
And those are all over the trail. For the most part.
For the most part. Sometimes you go like a ways before there's another water source. Like it's going to be another 5. So you just camel up, pack out. I just carried 2 1-liters. And then if I had to, I'd just fill up that bladder as well. So I would just carry as much water as I could if I knew I was like camping, not near a water source, or if it was going to be a while before I saw another one.
Okay. Were you ever like, you know what? Screw this. I'm eating these meals out of a bag and filtering water, and like my jungle rot is on fire. My taint's about to fall through my jeans right now.
Yeah.
Were you ever like, I don't know, I don't want to keep doing this?
Honestly, no. Like, I never thought about quitting. There was definitely days where I'm like, damn, this sucks. Like, I'm like tired of this and I really want to get done. But there was never a point where it's like, yeah, this is too much. I got to quit.
Yeah.
And I think I got to credit that to quitting in December, quitting my job, and then moving back home with my parents, still not having a job, and then telling people it's because I'm going to go hike in the woods. It's like, I better get this done if I just haven't worked for this long, you know? Like,
yeah.
I felt that kind of pressure on me. It's like,
and
this ain't that bad.
Yeah. How often was it where you're like, you come to like these cool scenery? Because I saw pictures and video that you kept posting.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dang, he's still doing this. I'm like, I know it takes that long. Like, I didn't know it was going this long. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's been doing this for like 2 months at one point. And I'm like looking like, geez, it's 3.5 months.
Yeah.
How often was that? Because if I did this, I'd want to take my camera gear. And I'd be like, I feel like my camera gear is real heavy just by itself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, but you just got your phone, which is nice. How, like, was that the best part of it? Was that the reason you wanted to do it? Or was it the challenge of that? Or was it just to see all that there is on the trail?
It was definitely the challenge aspect and the adventure, just like doing something kind of different that is just different. And then, but definitely the views, like McAfee Knob. That's the most photographed spot on the whole Appalachian Trail. And so I'd see pictures of that, and I was like, man, I just really want to go do that. That looks cool. But
McAfee Knob?
Yeah, in Virginia.
McAfee Knob. Okay.
Super cool spot.
And that's in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that does look really cool. I think I saw. Did you take a picture here?
I did.
Yeah, I think I saw this one. That's so cool. And is that right on the trail? Do you have to go far off of it?
The trail like comes up to the mountain, and then there's just a sign that says lookout. Like they have that all over the place where it's just a little sign. They'll say like 0.1, 0.3, however far to like a cool lookout spot. So it's kind of cool on days. Like I knew that was coming up, and like I was really excited to see it. So I was going to go check it out, of course. Yeah. But sometimes it's like it's 0.3 off trail, but it's a really cool view. And it just depends on the day. If it's raining, absolutely not. But if I'm feeling good and stuff, then it's like, yeah, sure, I'll go.
And
check it out.
So did you say how heavy your bag was?
I think it was about 35 to 40 pounds on average. After you get a resupply, it depends how far you're going, because you'd be able to see like, okay, it's going to be 5 days before I resupply again. I got to get 5 days worth of food. So it would get heavier then. Or it's like I can resupply in 2 days. Or I'm staying at a hostel in a couple days, so I'll just I'll bring a loaf of bread and peanut butter and survive off that.
So when you're staying at a hostel, how much is a hostel there? Is it like a dorm bed?
More or less, yeah. Some of them like don't even have sheets or anything.
Yeah.
It's a mattress and
you just throw your sleeping bag on.
Yeah. But they have like laundry and stuff and a shower, so it's like if you can get it, then it's worth it.
Yeah, and that's indoor, obviously.
Or
and
you can camp.
How much does that cost?
Some of them up north, they're expensive, like sometimes like $40.
Jeez.
Other ones are like 25, 30.
That's still pretty expensive.
Compared to like Europe? Is Europe cheaper than that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get $3 hostels in Asia.
$3?
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, they give you the bunk bed and all the sheets and everything.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them in India as low as 75 cents.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Now, I haven't been to those yet. I would like to. I've never been to India, but yeah, that's so expensive.
I mean,
and so if there was a hostel, would you stay there every time?
No. Starting out, I did.
It just got expensive, or?
Yeah, like it got expensive, and it's kind of weird. Like once you get in a rhythm, at least for me, once I get in a rhythm of being out there and stuff, it's like I'll get a resupply, and then I don't want to stay in town. I just want to get back out on trail.
Yeah.
I'd rather, because then you just go in your room or hostel or wherever you're at, and just kind of sit there, and I got just so bored. Like I would sit there like, oh, I can't wait for a day off, or like just a few hours where I can sleep in a bed and stuff. And like that part's nice, but I would just get so bored. It's like I could be getting miles done right now.
Yeah.
You know?
So did you take full days off?
Only once.
And where you're just like, you know what? I'm not doing anything today. I'm just chilling.
Yeah. So it was up in Maine. It was at the Hostel of Maine, and there was a hurricane that was coming through, or not like hitting right where I was, but like hurricanes would come through down south, and then like the storms would come up the coast. So that was like the first one, and I was like, oh, like I heard a hurricane's coming. Like other people on the trail were like telling me about it. So I was like, yeah, I'll take a 0 is what it's called, 0 miles. I'll take a 0 and just stay here. And then, yeah, like I just sat there, and luckily there was another hiker in there, so him and I just hung out all day. But still,
where was he
so
from?
limited. North Carolina.
Cool.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Probably late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, so did you ever stay in a place like a hostel, and they're like, hey, you want to go hit the bar, and then like you like hang out, and then like have to wake up and hike the next day, you know? Anything like that? Like, did you have nights out, or was it like every night you're like, okay, I'm tired, going to sleep? Or if you're in the town where you're like, hey, let's go see what's up. Like,
see, a lot of the time until I got to like way south, like Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, I was all by myself.
Okay.
So I would get to a hostel, and like most of the time I wouldn't know, or obviously I wouldn't know anyone, but no one I'd seen before, and other hikers that are in their own group or whatever like that. Sometimes I would just go out by myself and like find a restaurant, chill out, get a few beers and drink. But most of the time, call my parents, go to bed.
Gotcha.
Kind of call it.
I'm sure you're wiped by that point.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be
no
so
doubt.
tired.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh man, I just want to crash.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was I gonna say? I had another question on that. So were there any points that you stuck with one or two people or a group for extended amounts of time?
Yeah.
Hiking
through the Smokies, I did.
Yeah.
Down there in the south, I had a buddy named Milkbone.
Milkbone.
Yeah. Well, you get trail names out there.
Oh, really? What was yours?
Ace.
Ace.
All you can eat. At the first hostel I stayed at, I had 13 blueberry pancakes.
Oh, geez.
And so the guy who owns the hostel came up and said, your trail name can be Ace for all you can eat. Because usually people give you the name or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll roll with that.
Ace. So then when you're like, hey, I'm Milkbone, and you're like, hey, I'm Ace.
I'm Ace, yeah. That's how you introduce yourself to people.
That's so cool.
But like the locals sometimes don't always get it. So I like tell people like, yeah, I'm Ace. And they're like, Ace, that's a cool name. I was like, yeah, whatever.
That's so is there any time that you like sign something of your like trail name? You're like, oh, Ace was here.
Yes. Yeah, at the halfway point.
Okay.
The halfway
Where's
point.
that at?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Because the trail changes every single year, or almost every year, and because they'll reroute it, because there's trail maintainers that'll go out, and if some parts flooded over, or if there's too many blowdown trees on the trail, they'll just make a new trail that goes around it. So for instance, I think the trail used to be 2,180 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like 2,193. So it'll kind of differ and change the total distance. So that whole day, you're just kind of walking by the past halfway points, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool. So are the trails, so you're saying they're maintained.
Mm-hmm.
What do they look like? Are they pretty wide trails, or they're pretty obvious trails that, like, how apparent are they that they're trails, I guess, if that makes sense?
Some places it can be tough. Like,
yeah.
It depends how good the trail maintenance is. For instance, New York and North Carolina, terrible. There's tons of blowdown trees, and it's just marked by a 2x6 white blaze. So it's what they call just like a white 2x6 paint on trees.
Okay.
So you can see, and
Gotcha.
other people have been hiking there and stuff. But I got off trail all the time on accident. And luckily, I had that Guthook app where you can ping your location.
Okay.
And then you'd see like, wow, I'm somehow 0.3 miles off trail. And I've just been walking on what I thought was a trail the whole time.
So do people get lost and die out there that way?
One person has.
Really?
Well, one person I know of. I'm sure there's been more.
Oh, really? Like one person you met?
Not that I met.
Oh, that you just heard of?
Yeah.
Okay.
She had a journal that she wrote, and then they wrote a book after her.
Oh, okay.
Something like
Gotcha.
that. Yeah.
Where do you charge your phone?
Portable charger.
Okay, in that solar?
No, solar ones are terrible.
Yeah, I figured.
At least with my experience with them.
So a portable charger, how do you charge the portable charger?
Once you get to town. That's
Oh,
usually
so it can only be
that's how I would judge like when I need to go to a hostel or a motel, is if I'm running out of juice on
Gotcha.
the portable charger. But I bought a huge one. It's a brick. It's a pound. Just an Anchor charger.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was going to be that big on Amazon, but
Yeah.
it came out like this.
Oh, geez. So that's probably quite a few charges.
Yeah. Yeah, I could
And you're
go
probably not using your
10
phone
days.
too much.
No, I was on airplane mode like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Which was
Would you
awesome.
even have data out there?
Some points. If I really wanted to be on my phone, I would like go to a mountaintop, and then if I would check it, but
Yeah.
you know, some days you did, some days you didn't.
Huh, dude, that is interesting. So like none of the shelters would have charging ports or anything like that.
I think one of them did. Like one of them had like a shower that you can use, and
I'm sure that was cold.
I didn't even use it.
Yeah.
I walked right by it. I was like, whatever.
Man, I can just imagine did you know you smelled that bad? Or you just
Yeah.
like, dude, I am rank.
Yeah. The worst was taking off your shoes at the end of the day, and then there's people that like haven't been through
they're
hiking.
like, they're just like one of the day people.
Yeah. I was like, I'll just sleep in the corner over
Yeah.
here. That's cool with you. You know?
How big are the plots? Like the shelters?
They're totally different. So, and it's kind of cool that they vary by state. Like Massachusetts had lofts, so you'd walk in. There'd be some of them had bunks in them, but it was just like a wood bunk, and then there'd be like a loft up top. Some of them are double deckers, but usually on average you could fit 8 in just a normal one.
Okay.
And that'd
Only
be
8
pretty
people,
tight.
like 8 people on the ground.
And that'd be like
Pretty close.
nut to butt
So they're
sleeping.
tiny.
Yeah, I mean, probably from your bed to that wall on the inside.
Okay. Gotcha.
But not tons of room, but
Yeah.
And there's always mice and snakes in them and stuff like that.
Oh, what kind of snakes?
Mostly black snakes.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
going for this?
Have it.
I got another one. I got more in the fridge.
Word.
Black snakes?
Yeah. I saw the most of them.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
many?
Probably saw like 10 black snakes total. 2 rattlers. No copperheads, unfortunately. Copperheads in my...
What'd you do with the rattlers? Just let them go?
No, I got scared of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I walked up on one and I didn't know what it was.
Where was this at?
Virginia
Okay.
was the first one. And then it was just like chilling there. So I kind of like smacked near it, like not on it, but like kind
Yeah.
of near it with my stick. And then it goes, I was like, oh, that's a rattlesnake.
Oh.
And he like kind of went away from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how far these guys can lunge. So I just kind of walked around him. And then the other one I just got kind of cocky with. I was doing the same thing. And then I took a step. And then as soon as I took a step, he like coiled up and was just staring at me. I was like, oh, man.
That's terrible. That's scary.
Most of the time, they just let you chill.
Yeah.
Leave you alone.
They're probably scared of you and they run away.
Yeah.
Well, they don't run. They slither.
Right.
It's more of a slither. So, how long did it take you?
The whole thing?
Yeah.
4 months and 4 days.
4 months, 4 days. So that's pretty fast because you're saying
Yeah.
5 to 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most people do.
Is the average.
So, how many miles a day were you going at the end?
At the end, I kind of, relative to what I was doing earlier, somewhat slowed down to like 20 or so miles a day. But I really wasn't in any rush to get done. So towards the end, I was like, if I do 15 miles, I'll do 15 miles, you know. Because the sun's going down earlier by then, too.
What time do you wake up and start going?
I'd usually wake up with the sun.
Okay.
So it would, sometimes I got in the habit of getting up really early, and I'd just be on the trail by like 6:30, 7. And then other days I would just sleep till noon. Like,
Yeah.
you have your own schedule
Yeah,
out there,
exactly.
you know. But,
That's nice.
and you just hike through the night. I had a headlamp, so sometimes I would just hike all night and stuff like that.
Where does it end at? In Georgia, but
It's at Springer Mountain is the ending point.
Springer Mountain.
Super underwhelming finish.
I saw your finish on Instagram. It was super
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, you like it?
That was awesome. He did the
Forrest Gump.
The Forrest Gump. I'll put it on. I'll put it on here.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
And then what? So you finish, and now I guess I'll go home now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I guess I'm home. I just got a job. So, well, I have.
Well,
Soon I do, anyways.
so how do you get, is that close to Atlanta? Like, do you fly home? Do somebody come?
My folks drove out, and we just drove home.
Okay, so they drove all the way there.
Yeah.
How far? That's a long drive from Lincoln.
It was I think like 20 hours maybe.
And so did you call them like the day 2 days before? You're like, yo, this is about the time I'm going to be finished.
No.
Or were you just like chilling in?
My mom was on me. She's like, when are you going to be done? When are you going to be done? It's like, I don't know. You know, some days I go 10 miles, other days I go 20. It could be whenever. I don't know. And then like once I got like a week out, I was like, okay, I'll pace it to where I get done at this day. And then so they're like, all right, we'll make plans to come out and.
Okay, so you kind of planned to when you would. That was probably. So did you have to hurry up or did you get to slow it down?
I kind of slowed it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably nice.
Yeah. I didn't want that pressure of like, now I got to do 2 30-mile days right at the end. You know, I was just trying to chill and enjoy it once I was getting done.
That's nice.
And I was really hurting towards the end too.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Your legs are probably zapped.
They were shot. Yeah.
So what's the least you hiked in a day besides the day you did no hiking?
I had one day where I did 2 miles. And it's because it was in New Hampshire, and I was coming down the mountain to stay at a hostel, or I think that one was a motel. And then I called them. I was like, hey, you guys have room tonight? And they're like, no, we don't, but we do tomorrow. So I was like, okay.
I guess, well, I'm here tonight, so that doesn't help me.
Yeah, like, can I tent there? And they're like, no, we don't do that here. I was like, okay, well, guess I'll just go hungry for the night and then no food the next day until I made it down. It was only 2 miles, so you can do that quick.
Jeez.
But just frustrating.
So you just stayed where you were for the day?
Yeah.
Or pretty much you just hiked the 2 miles?
It was late in their defense. It was like probably 6 or 7 at that point. But
yeah,
I was like, okay, well, I'll just stay here. And then I decided to take a rest day and whatnot the next day. I'll just hike 2 miles and then just chilled in the motel room all day after that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be just from the little stuff I've done traveling when you like finally can just like do nothing. It's like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
You can just relax all day.
To be fair, though, it's like you're not most of the time, like you get so used to walking that it's like not really that bad at all.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, like, I don't know. You're doing nothing is nice, but it's not as exhausting once you get so used to it, especially when it gets flat in certain areas like Pennsylvania and Virginia. Then you can just zone out and you don't really get
just
that
kind of
tired.
grind. Did you ever listen to podcasts or
all
anything?
the time?
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
Podcasts, books, music, and then
How many books, podcasts, and music do you think you went through?
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went through a ton.
You got like probably a degree in something just by
yeah.
listening.
Those yeah, I listened to a bunch of stuff.
That's so cool though. That's one thing about traveling when I do travel is I'm always on buses doing 10-hour bus rides or whatever it is, and I just have time to just crank out podcasts.
Yeah.
And I actually have time to sit there and listen, and I think I don't know, I love doing that. I love like having that time to where you have nothing else to do. Now granted, I'm sitting and listening, you're walking and listening, but yeah, that's any like specific podcasts or anything that you just
I listen to Bigger Pockets a lot. I don't know if you've heard of those guys.
What's
Bigger
that?
Pockets. It's like real estate investing kind of stuff. So I was just like, I don't know. I just kind of got into it. They kind of are pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
And them, Joe Rogan here and there. But I would just kind of bounce around it. Like nothing really, unfortunately, things got boring fast. So I would just like listen to like 20 minutes of a podcast, try to listen to some Joe Rogan music, no headphones for 2 hours, think, and then just repeat, kind of all day.
Were you ever worried about wildlife? Like, did you carry bear mace or?
No.
No?
And I was getting fired up because everyone says through Shenandoah National Park, you'll see a bear. It's in Virginia. And I didn't see a damn bear the whole time. So I was like, when am I going to see a black bear? I saw one in Vermont, but it was like running away. So I just saw it for like half a second. But people got these cool bear stories. So by the time I made it to the Smokies, they got their signs everywhere, like be bear aware, like be careful about them. I got a thing of honey and I would like just like start kind of putting it wherever, sleeping with my food. I'd like spill it on my shoes and
So that a bear would come?
in hopes that I'd see a bear.
Oh my gosh.
And they still never saw one.
I don't know if that's the time you want to see a bear.
I don't know. I mean,
He's like licking your shoes.
it'd be funny though, just like
Dude,
at least I'd see a
Is
bear.
that like a cartoon thing, or do bears really love honey?
I think so. They love sweet stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you're supposed to hang your food every night and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and did
but
you?
Sometimes. It kind of depended who I was with.
The bears freak me out. I don't
Really?
know. Yeah, I don't want to run into a bear.
Black bears aren't too bad.
They will still mess you up.
I don't know.
Now here's the main question that I've wanted to ask the whole time.
Yeah.
Coach McCurdy would love this one too. Did you see any Sasquatches?
Sasquatches?
Yeah.
I heard rumors, but myself,
you?
I didn't see one.
You didn't? Okay, so people had though?
Yeah.
On the trail?
Yeah.
Really? Like
Okay.
hikers or just people at the motels or what?
To be fair, this guy was like nuts.
Whoa, easy.
He was.
I mean, I don't know him, but
This guy was crazy. And
Ah.
I got stuck with him at a shelter one night, and it was me and some guy.
I'm so excited to hear what you're about to say.
Oh, dude, I don't buy it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But
All right. Hey,
I'm not saying this guy's lying.
some will have eyes but cannot see. I believe that's in the Bible somewhere.
Maybe, but
Okay, so what did he say?
I'm trying to. So this guy, he was just talking all night, and he's like, "No, I saw something the other night," or one of the times he was out, because he would just go out and do like weekend hikes, and he was like, "Yeah, I was sleeping in a shelter, and I heard something rubbing up its back against the shelter, like how bears do that, and,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
scratch it." And he's like, "But like I was so scared, and then I went out the next day, and I didn't see any hair or anything on the shelter, so I don't think it was a bear." And I like had no idea what he was getting at. I was just kind of sitting there like, "Yeah, I know, man." He's like, "It could be a Sasquatch," and I was like, "No, dude."
Well,
No.
I mean, you don't know.
I don't know. You're right. It very well could have
So
been.
that's his Sasquatch sighting
He
or
didn't even
experience.
Yeah.
That's not really. I wouldn't count that.
Yeah.
That'd be probably more of a bear.
That's what I was
I don't
thinking.
think- I
Or I
don't
think the guy's just crazy.
Could be crazy. Could be
He's
crazy.
a weird guy.
I was really hoping you would have seen, or at least ran into somebody
Seen.
who actually had seen something.
No. I mean, I don't remember that coming up any other time other than that, but
Dang it! Did you? I would ask every person who has hiked that up multiple times.
would you?
Yeah, I'd be like, "Yo, you seen Sasquatch?"
I'm sure someone has out there.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
Or at least think they did.
No, they probably have.
You think that's where he'd live, is over there if there was
Well, there's
one?
a bunch of Sasquatches, I think,
Where do they live?
all over the place.
Like in the United States or anywhere?
Appalachians, yeah, up in California, Canada. I mean, they've been seen it like all over the place. China,
China has them?
yeah, Australia, the Yowie. Ever heard of it?
I think Australia might
Orang
have 'em.
Pendek in Indonesia.
I don't even know where Indonesia is.
Yeah, well, it's in Asia.
Is it?
It's a huge island in Asia.
Oh, okay.
Well, multiple islands in Asia, but Orang Pendek. Man, there's so many of these.
Confirmed sightings or just
What is it? The Almasty in Mongolia or Russia? I can't remember.
are these just different monsters or are they
No,
actually
they're all they say they're all. These are the different names for the same creature they see. Now they might be different colors, but
right.
yeah, like brown or black or green or whatever.
Well, I need to go Sasquatch hunting.
Dude, you
then.
gotta go do little squatch hunting. We gotta get you. Gotta get you on the train.
Do you want to
I've
kill
turned-
them or do
I-
you want to just see them and then?
I think if I saw one, I would just be happy. I would kill one if I had the opportunity.
Would you?
Just to prove it to everyone who's called me crazy over the years.
You might have to add me that list.
Hey, I've turned a lot of people into believers who were not believers.
Really? You got
Yeah.
like some hardcore
Like
evidence?
I would be scared. I would add that to the list of things I'd be scared of to run into.
Is that a small list right now or?
Bears, wolves,
Wolves are scary.
Sasquatch would be scary. What else is there? I mean, mountain lions, but
Snakes?
small mountain lions aren't much.
No.
Like a big cat, I'd be terrified of.
Yeah. Snakes?
Eh.
Huh?
Eh.
Snakes scare
Snakes,
me.
like, if I'm in the jungles of New Guinea
Yeah.
or in Australia, then yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a lot of snakes in the U.S. Could be wrong on this. That'll kill you right away. Like in Brazil, they have them.
What do you mean right away?
Like you're dead right away. Like
For
you're
one
dead.
bite?
You're dead very soon.
Like no
Yeah,
anti-venom or anything?
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like a
man.
lot of snakes in the U.S. and I could be wrong on this. You have some time
Yeah. At
to
least,
figure it out.
yeah.
Whereas there's snakes that, even in Vietnam, that like I was in this there's this tiny village in Vietnam right on the coast, and this hostel me and my buddy Matt were working for bought an old resort that went out of business a long time ago, and they turned it into this like backpacker resort, but it's not a resort. It's just like this little backpacker, like it literally looks like a commune. It looks like a cult commune. There's walls up around it. And we stayed there, and then every day they would do these hikes to this mountain. Are you getting cold?
I'm fine.
Okay. They do these hikes into the, like, I wouldn't call it the jungle, but into the woods.
Right.
To go jump into this waterfall. And we would go on that. I did it a few times. They're like, oh, yeah, just be careful. There's a snake that if it bites you, you're dead.
Like a water snake?
No. It's just like, I don't know what kind of snake it was.
Oh, but just like
But
on
they
the
were
way
like, yeah,
there?
just look out for it. It looks like this. And I'm like, and I was talking to some people who lead the tours, and they were just Americans or like Australians, Brits, whatever. Like they're not from there. They don't know any more than I do.
And they're
like,
leading it?
Yeah, and they're leading it in. I mean, it's a pretty easy trail to go through, but
Okay.
I was like, have you ever seen one? They're like, yeah, I've seen a few, like just sitting on a log. And I'm like, the logs that you just like step over? They're like, yeah. I'm like, what are we doing here, guys?
Oh.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I thought it was nuts, and they just did it every day. They're like, no, it's fine.
They
They
kill
like
him
they
when they
scurry
see him, or-
away. No, I mean they don't know what to do. They're like from London. I'm like, they don't know how to kill a snake.
I don't know.
I would trust me more than I trust them on how to kill a snake.
I'd have like a spear or machete with me.
Yeah,
or
no, they don't
something.
do anything. The locals are like, yeah, just look out for them. Like they'll probably run away,
Probably.
or slither away.
Well,
But,
and when
yeah.
they don't, you just.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to take that risk, guys.
Did you still go?
Yeah, I went like 2-3 times.
Really?
Yeah, it was cool. I was just
That'd
like
be fun.
looking out the whole time.
Yeah.
It was a cool little hike, but that stuff's like those snakes scared me
Yeah.
because they're like, yeah. Well, we were also 35 minutes from a hospital, 40 minutes from a hospital.
It's a long ways if they kill you quick, though.
Yeah, I know. You're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
It's essentially what they're saying.
Really?
Like, yeah, you're not gonna make it if they bite you, because then they got to carry you back to the hostel where they can get in a car, and it's called Ninh Van Village is a small village. It's a tiny little village. Whereas like the only thing there, like you don't even go out into the village. Like everyone just stays in this little like commune area
Right.
of just. It's such a weird.
What country
experience.
is this again?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah, but so that stuff scares. Those snakes scare me, but not rattlers as much. Like I wouldn't be wanting to hang out with one,
Right.
but
But you're not gonna die. You're just
I'm
gonna
not
get like.
going out thinking like worried about stepping on a rattlesnake. Like I was just out in Nebraska doing a road trip in Nebraska, beginning of October, and we were out at Chimney Rock, and they have rattlesnake signs everywhere. They're like, there's
Really? In
yeah.
Nebraska?
Oh yeah, well there's rattlesnakes just south of here.
No way.
Oh yeah, there's rattlesnakes. There's rattlesnakes. As soon as you get out of Lincoln, there's rattlesnakes.
I didn't know that.
They're prairie rattlers, and they're not dangerous. These ones out. It appeared the ones out near Chimney Rock are maybe a little more dangerous.
Right.
But rattlesnakes aren't that bad unless they're like certain types of rattlers. Like down
Yeah.
in Texas or Arizona, like the Diamondbacks, like those are.
Timber
The ones-
rattlers.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. It's like all black.
Oh, okay.
It's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen
It's
that.
like black and white.
A timber rattler.
Yeah.
So that'd be the only thing I would. Bears would freak me out the most.
Bears run away from you all the time, though.
Unless you surprise them, and then
Or it's a grizzly
and
bear.
then they just maul your face. Like I'm more worried about them not killing me right away and like ripping all the skin off my face.
Then they just come back later.
And
for
then
you.
they're just like, "Yeah, I'll get you later."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dude, just kill me now, man. You can have me." Timber rattler. I want to look it up. Okay, so they have like the black. I wish I could show you this easier. Oh, like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what that one
Okay.
looked like that I saw.
Oh, geez. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely not think that's a rattlesnake.
I would. Yeah, I didn't either.
And are those decently poisonous? Do you know?
I think so. Because I had a guy that came up behind me. I knew he was like a few minutes back. So I was like, hey, there's a snake right here. I think it's a rattlesnake. He's like, yeah, that's a timber rattler snake. I was like, oh, so it is a rattlesnake. I didn't have any knowledge on rattlesnakes. I'd never seen one before I did the trail or anything.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they have them in Nebraska all over. Down in Pawnee City, where was part of my family's from, they have them there. They've killed them and put them in like glass. And I remember I took one to school, and it was just a rattlesnake in like this like. What, polyurethane or what? I don't know. No, not polyurethane. What's the like clear stuff they put on wood? Epoxy?
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds like that. It's like in glass.
Okay.
And so I have a few of them.
It's almost like a framed rattlesnake?
Yeah, it's a framed rattlesnake.
That's cool.
So I have a few. I have like, my family has like 2 or 3 of them.
You like skinned it then?
No, it's just dead, and it's freaky.
That keeps it preserved?
You give it to someone, it like freaks them out. Yeah, preserves them perfectly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's perfectly the way it was when it was killed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How'd they kill it then? Or is there no head to it?
No, there's a head. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. They maybe shot it.
Or choked it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but no, that would that would be the only stuff that freaks me out. The bear stuff, I'm terrified of bears. I'd be the guy wearing bells.
Oh, there's people doing that.
Yeah, the bell. Do they have a name for them?
Yeah, I'm sure they
noobs.
got one along the way.
They're just
noobs.
So how do you did you know all this trail lingo and all this trail like community before you started doing that?
I knew.
Because you have all these names for them and all this like, you're in the community.
I don't know if I'd say that, but I didn't really know much. I knew you'd get like a trail family, but I figured like, number one, with COVID and also me just hiking south, I was like, I probably won't see anyone. So I knew I wasn't really going to do that, but I guess there's certain terms and stuff like that I picked up along the way. But
yeah, well, there's
I really
a lot
didn't
of
know
things you're saying. I'm like, oh, I have no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My bad.
No, it's good.
I'll elaborate.
Well, it's just like, it's the lingo that they use. I'm like,
right.
Did you know this before? Because I have no idea what that means.
Okay, no,
but,
yeah.
No, it's cool.
I didn't know a lot of that stuff.
Huh. Well, I'm guessing 4 months would do that.
Yeah, when you do it every
day. I'm doing
day.
Nothing but that. So like, how much does all this cost in general? Like, how much would someone need to save up if they want to do this?
You can do it fairly cheap. You can even do, in some places, work for stays at hostels.
Okay.
So I don't know if they have that where you've been.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, something similar. How long would you be there? Like you work for 1 day.
Yeah. Like,
or
hey,
2 days.
Do you have a work for stay? If I stay the night, they'll be like, yeah, we'll work for a few hours the next day.
What would you do?
One guy, like, chopped wood, I think. I never did it, but...
You never did one of those work for stays?
No. By the time I got there, I was like, whatever, I'll just pay.
Yeah.
But some people would... Some of them were so easy where they'd have, like, another person who works at the hostel, and they're like, who's doing the work for stay? And they're like, I am. She's like, okay, charge my phone. And, like, that's all the kid had to do for the work for stay. Other ones, they're like, you do dishes, you help make food, because sometimes they serve breakfast in the morning.
Okay.
But if they really don't need you and they're cool, like, sometimes it's like, just, we'll do something, clean a little bit, busy work. But, yeah, I was never... Overall, I'd say...
File my taxes for me.
Yeah, that one, I know.
I'd be like, all right, what are we doing here? I don't
Absolutely
know how to do
not.
this.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But I'd say $1,000 a month, as I think what I spent.
That's nothing.
No?
That doesn't seem like that. Actually, now that I think about it, I mean, you can spend that in Asia easily.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought everything was super cheap over there.
No, that's what I'm saying, like, doing anything you want. That's getting an apartment and...
An apartment?
Like, living there for $1,000 a month.
Really?
You can do it way cheaper than that. Oh, yeah, you can get apartments for... I knew there were these 4 girls that rented out a 5-story apartment because the way they do it in Vietnam is they do the taxes by how wide the house is.
Oh, so you just build up?
So they just build up. And so then each girl got a floor, and then they had the basement, which is the kitchen and living room. And then they would each get their own floor. And...
Was it like a studio on each room, or was it like a
No,
floor?
it was like a floor. Well, it's like the staircase and then there's room. Staircase and room.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. And they each paid $180 a month. And they had someone come in and clean once every 2 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, that cheap. 5-story place.
What's the currency in Vietnam? It's
Dong.
I'm glad I asked that.
Vietnamese dong.
Nice.
Yeah, the best one.
I remember Thailand was baht.
Baht.
And it was like
Yeah.
$1 is 34 baht.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was
in
wild.
Vietnam, it's 23,000 dong is $1.
23. That seems like so
Inflation.
much.
Inflation.
Are the
you know?
dollars like 10,000 each then or something?
I mean,
Inflation.
yeah.
That'd be so hard to count. I can't count that high.
The smallest I ever saw was a 500 dong bill. I think it's probably 500.
Yeah.
And those are hard to find. So usually it's
1,000 and up.
2,000 or something. I can't remember. But, so yeah, where were you stationed as much as you can tell?
Yeah, I can say anything.
Okay.
But I was in Camp Pendleton.
Which is in
Stationed
San Diego.
Yeah, it's like just an hour north of San Diego. Yeah.
So is that where you ran into Jared Marr?
Yeah.
So
He was in my unit.
yeah, like one of my best friends from high school
Yeah.
is a Marine officer,
Yeah.
and KB texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you know what is he?
I think he was Captain Marr at that time.
Captain Marr
Yeah.
wrestled at East." I was like, "Jared Marr?" I was like, "Yeah, man, he's like one of my best friends."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dude, I don't know what he was for you. I don't know all the
He was a
lingo."
company commander because I remember seeing him like a couple times, and I like looked at his rank, and then I like looked at him. I was like, I know that guy, but like he's an officer. I was enlisted. I'm not gonna like, you don't just like kind of make. Sometimes you can. I'm sure like he would have been cool with it.
Oh,
but, like,
you can't just talk to him?
Some you can, but like, and like in that situation, I'm sure it would have been fine. You know, like, sir, I think I know you, but like you're not bros with officers.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's like your platoon commander right above you. So it's like I can't just go up and say like, "Hey, sir, how you doing?" Just like to some random officer.
That is weird.
Yeah.
But, huh. And so then, did you ever speak to him?
I didn't because he wasn't in my company, but I'm pretty sure he went to Fuji as well because I'm pretty sure Fox Company went to Mount Fuji
In Japan.
and I'm pretty sure he was in Fox Company. I could be wrong, but I never did talk to him. But I was like,
oh, I thought you did. Dude, he's one of my best friends.
is he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I would have.
Oh, I miss that guy.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well,
I got some fun stories about him.
yeah.
Oh, good old Jared Marr.
That's funny.
I don't know what he is now, but
Because I think he came in wrestling one day, and I was like, you were like, hey,
wait, you had wrestling? Oh wait,
with you guys at Lincoln East.
At East, yeah.
And you're like, hey, K Brown, like this guy's, I think he was in officer training or some sort of thing. Like, yeah, he's going to be in the Marines too, or he is a Marine at this point.
He went to ROTC
ROTC.
because he was going to wrestle in Nebraska
Oh, really?
when I was wrestling at Nebraska, and we were roommates.
Oh.
And he didn't end up doing it. He's like, yeah, he didn't quite know if he wanted to. I was like, yeah, don't do it if you don't know.
Don't wrestle.
Don't do it if you don't know if you want to do it, because
Wrestle or Marines?
Wrestle.
Okay.
Because he wanted to be in the military from the time he was like
Day
super
one.
young.
Yeah.
He knew he wanted to be in the military. So yeah, he was in Marine. He was in ROTC.
ROTC. Okay.
And so
That's right. Because
Yep.
he was something like that.
yeah,
I was
and I
like,
remember
oh,
bringing
I'm
it up
gonna
to
do
you,
that too.
and I thought you talked to him about it, and which is why you brought it up. But you remembered that.
No, I just remember seeing him. I'm like, dude, this guy looks so familiar. And you got your name tape,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw Mar, and I was like, I think I remember seeing that like on a plaque, up in there. I'm like, I'm gonna text Coach E. I was like, do you know this Mar
that's
guy?
wild. It sucks you didn't say anything to him.
I know. I just don't.
Dude,
like,
he'll be back here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should. I haven't seen him for a while,
Yeah.
but
There's just like like I said, I'm sure he'd be fine, but like there's like a professionalism like with a lot of officers where it's like that they don't show you like any other side
Yeah.
other than Captain so and so,
huh?
So
Yeah,
I wanted to say what's up to him. I should have, but
that's crazy. You remembered that.
yeah.
That's interesting. I'm gonna tell him next time I see him.
I
about
think
that.
he probably recognized me, but I don't know. He probably doesn't know who I am. Because I remember one day we like looked at each other's like rank and names, like, I think I know that dude. And then we
Yeah.
like just I don't know. But
Huh?
Never talked to him.
That's interesting. I wonder if he would. He doesn't have any social media, so I wonder if his wife does though, and I wonder if she would have seen anything because I don't know if I wasn't making videos of you guys back then. I don't think, was I?
Not that I remember.
But I wonder if he would have followed any Lincolnese like social media, wrestling social media, and seen you on there. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's the small world.
Small Marine Corps too.
Yeah, small Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So then you were in. So where were you?
Stationed in Camp Pendleton.
Okay.
And then we did MUSE, Marine Expeditionary Units. It's deployments, you could say, to Okinawa, Japan.
Okay. Yep.
And so we'd go to Oki, which I don't know if you've probably never been there. That place is awful.
Yeah. My one of my good friends, Andy McLaughlin, who was a recon Marine.
Oh.
He was in Okinawa.
Yeah, he coached too.
Yeah, you saw him. Yeah, he was there for a little bit.
Yeah, I remember him too.
Yeah. I think I probably introduced you to him and was like, hey, this guy was a recon Marine.
Yeah. I was like, oh, dang. Yeah.
But
so
he was in Okinawa.
Oki?
So he's told me a bunch of stories from Okinawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to do over there.
That's what he said.
But you make your own fun.
Yeah.
But,
so then you were in Okinawa. Did you end up going to Thailand or?
Yeah. So on my first MU that I went on, we did Cobra Gold, is what it's called, and so that's over in Thailand. And so we got on
in Pattaya.
Pattaya, yeah.
Yeah.
Pattaya.
Yeah.
That's
Pattaya. Yeah.
You got the accent.
He told me about Pattaya.
Oh yeah.
I've never been to Pattaya. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I know what that town is like.
Wild place.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. That was a good time. But yeah, we went there, and so we got off ship, and they call it Liberty in the Marines. Like it's pretty much your free time.
Free time.
So when you're off, you're on Libo. And so we got like 2 days to go in Thailand, in Pattaya, and just let a bunch of drunk Marines wander the streets of Pattaya, Thailand.
I'm sure they're used to that, and they probably hate it and love it, or I don't know. They like the money, I'm sure.
We give them money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the higher-ups in the Marine Corps don't like it because they're just sitting there like, oh,
choose a different place than Pattaya, Thailand, because that's like a tourist place.
Yeah. It's a
huge tourist spot.
A lot of Germans there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I noticed. But, like, if you didn't know where you were, I wouldn't have guessed somewhere in Asia because there was like so many other races there.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was there.
Yeah, it's a super touristy spot.
Yeah. It was cool. And then after that, we went and trained with the Thai Marines for like 2 weeks. So that was tons of fun.
Yeah.
Got to drink King Cobra blood and
there you go.
Hang out
I
with
did
them.
that too.
Did you?
Probably did like cooler way of doing it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the tourist way of doing it, I'm guessing.
How'd you do it?
Well, we actually they had Cobra blood shots in Laos. And it was supposed to be a thing where you're supposed to take a Cobra blood shot when you get to Laos. That's like a custom thing. At least the way, I don't know, probably tourist crap. Right. I don't know. But when I was just in Asia, we went to a snake restaurant where they bring out the snakes and you can play with them and they're nice.
Alive?
Yeah. And they flip them over. They flip them over and they grab them and they slit them open and they pop the heart out and then you bite the heart out of it. You bite its beating heart and you rip it out and then you eat it.
And the snakes are friendly?
The snakes were nice before. I mean, they're dead after that.
Well, yeah, they're probably a little unhappy now.
Well, and then they're still moving, and then they cook them and you eat them.
Yeah,
I have pictures of it.
We cooked that too.
I was doing photography for the tour. It was like something the hostel did for like once a week or something. Anybody who wanted to go do the snake, it's like called Snake Alley, where people just sell snakes and there's snake restaurants and you can drink. And then they took all the snake blood and put it into a huge like vat, and then they poured shots of it, and then we all they mixed vodka with it.
I was gonna say some sort of alcohol. Did they have habusaki? Were you ever?
I'm not sure. That probably sounds Japanese.
They have a habu snake inside of the jar, a dead habu snake.
Yeah. That in Laos, I don't know what kind of snake it was.
Shot. Might have been a habu.
So we did it in Laos where you're supposed to kiss the snake. So when you tip it, so they put it into where the snake's mouth is touching the top of the, like where you drink out of, in a little like, it's not a flask, but it's like a clear jar.
Sure.
But it's shaped like a flask, and so then you take a pull of it, and the snake touches your lips each time.
So you're kissing it while you're drinking it. Snake.
Yeah, you're kissing it while you are drink. Well,
or it's blood and vodka.
It's just vodka. It's not even blood at that point. They don't cut the snake. They just put a dead one in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's cool though.
But it touches your lips, so you like kiss the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a little gross or?
It was weird.
At the moment, it's cool.
Yeah,
you got to
was
do
cool.
it. Yeah.
It was like you got to do it when you come to Laos.
Of course.
So yeah, that was cool. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing you got to do the cooler, like legit Thai things.
Yeah. The dude just, I don't even know. He was a recon Thai Marine, and he had like 5 of these things that were just like sitting there, and they just, like sitting like staring at him, and he would just like put his hand over him and like bring him down, all cool like, and then at the end of it, some kids would come up and just chop the head off, and then he'd go around and just let people drink out of it like that, and just drank his blood straight up.
What kind of snakes were they? I mean, you probably don't know.
King cobras.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they were like sitting up like,
Oh.
and they would like lunge at him, and he would just like do this. Apparently, he's been bit like a few times. Just kept doing it.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah. It was a interesting time there for sure.
And so, how long were you in Thailand?
I think Cobra Gold was like 3 weeks long in total, but yeah, about 3 weeks.
And then from Thailand, you went back to Okinawa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Were you in the Philippines at all or any other countries like that?
I was in Singapore.
Okay.
And mainland Japan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainland is cool. Way better than Okinawa.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, where in mainland Japan?
Fuji.
Okay, not Fuji.
Yeah. They have a base like right
it's
on the
just
base.
super expensive there.
Fuji is?
I just heard Japan's super expensive. I was there in Tokyo for 1 day.
Yeah. We got some time in Tokyo. Overwhelming.
Yeah. There's so much.
I didn't like it, to be honest with you. I mean, it was cool to see it, but I don't even know what I saw. Like,
yeah.
There's
just a lot of things going on.
Yeah. Too much.
Huh. Interesting. That's cool.
I'm going to take a leak real quick.
Yeah. Take a piss. We'll just cut this out.
I'm going to have to get me a pair of these.
Dude, aren't they nice?
They're comfy, man.
All right. So if you're watching, okay, Breezy's wearing some my Santa boxers because when it started getting real hot when we were down here because we're in a small studio and it was getting quite toasty and he's a bit of a sweater.
I am.
He's a bit of a sweater.
Big sweater.
I can remember that from coaching him in wrestling and I was like, dude, you are gonna sweat it out. So here's my Santa boxers because I don't have any shorts with me.
Yeah,
but
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So anything coming up? You got any other cool plans like that? Like any other wild hairs or any other trips that you think you'd maybe want to do? Or are you more of like I did the crazy thing and now I'm just going to
for sure
chilling.
have the hiking bug now.
Okay.
So, and there's other long trails in the United States that I want to do and even internationally, but I'm kind of at the point where that was like my moment to take 5 months off and do something, I don't know if I'll have something like that again, but I want to do the Colorado Trail because that's less than 500 miles. It would take like a month maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could get like a month off, I'd love to go do that. And then the Pacific Crest Trail would be fun to do.
Where's that? Or obviously Pacific Coast, right? Is that just all the way
Mexico
through?
to Canada.
Oh, nice.
And you just go all up California and then Oregon, Washington.
And that's like a distinct trail.
Yeah.
Is it similar to the Appalachian Trail that it's all marked out and?
I believe so, from what I hear. I know there's some differences, like they don't have shelters there, but it doesn't rain in Southern California. But
Yeah, it does up north.
Up north, yeah, Washington, Oregon.
Yeah, as soon as you get like past Sacramento,
Yeah,
I feel like it's
fair amount of
always
rain.
raining.
Yeah, but so I mean, I don't know. You can hike through rain though, not too bad. The cold is the worst, and that would if I started at the right time, then it would be cold. Or it'd be warm up north, and then it'd just get chilly in the south.
So you go north to south with that?
I'd like to. I think it'd be cool to finish down Mexico.
How long would that take?
They say that one takes 4 to 6 months. So I don't want to toot my own horn and say I could do it in 3.
Oh,
but
what? Hey, you
maybe.
took a month off the other one.
I know. But I don't know. That's a long time just to like stop working, though.
Yeah.
But.
Huh.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but could be worth it.
It could be. I mean,
you gotta. I mean, you document it with pictures and everything, but
yeah,
you gotta do like I don't know.
Like
I don't even know.
I know
then you gotta
what you mean.
carry stuff with you.
Yeah,
and then it's like a whole thing. Like I was thinking about, I would love to do more extreme trips like that.
Mm-hmm.
but I want to document the whole thing, which then doubles the time you're there. If not, triples it, because I'm videoing, taking pictures, and then I got to edit them. And then I got to that takes a while, and then it just kind of makes this whole thing.
You could space it out, like do a week,
Yeah.
stay a day in a shelter or in a hostel.
Yeah.
And then the same thing. But I'd seen people that were doing that. They'd go and set up their camera and then walk
through it.
and then pick it. No, I didn't like that. Do
Yeah.
it again. I'm I'd just rather just walk through it.
Yeah.
Snap a pic and then keep going.
That's the thing, is I think I would get to the point where I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I just want to hike this thing. I don't want to keep.
On a month-long one, I think it'd be very doable.
Yeah.
But that long out there, you're just going to want to get done,
Yeah.
But,
well, I'm sure you were ready to get done.
Yeah.
Pretty early as well, too. So,
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, hey, the Santa looks good on you.
Thanks, sir.
With those tree trunk thighs you have after hiking every day for 4 months.
Right.
But thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to have to get with old Coach McCurdy here soon and reminisce. But all right. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. Kyle Brown, put his stuff down in the bio, put his Instagram. I don't know what else he's got. You got anything? Just that stuff?
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Sweet. Well, check out his stuff, and see you in the next one.